There is no argument that Call of Duty is undoubtedly one of the most famous video game franchises of all time. In its over 20-year span, the franchise has grown to be worth over $30 billion in net revenue earnings. Over the past 23 installments in the franchise, the worldwide community has constantly had fluctuating opinions. From community favorites like COD 2, Modern Warfare 2 and 3, and Black Ops 2, to less favorable games like Vanguard, World War II, Infinite Warfare, and Ghosts. In this video, I'm going to take you through the complicated history of Call of Duty. From the highs to the lows, we're going to look at just how this franchise became the juggernaut that it is today. But first, we're going to have to go back to 2002, where it all began. Infinity Ward was founded in 2002 by Grant Collier, Jason West, and Vince Zampella. All were former employees of 2015 Inc., which developed Medal of Honor Allied Assault and were acquired by Activision in 2003. The three founded Infinity Ward in 2002 as a division of Activision because they were dissatisfied with the current contract they had with EA. Activision got the bargain of the century when it paid a total of $5 million to buy Infinity Ward, a cash-strapped game studio. Infinity Ward's Call of Duty series has since gone on to generate more than $3 billion in revenue for Activision. Call of Duty was released exclusively on PC and used the ID Tech 3 engine. The game ended up winning over 80 Game of the Year awards and 47 Editor's Choice awards. Currently, the titles developed by Infinity Ward have won over 200 Game of the Year awards and 100 Editor's Choice. Much of Call of Duty's theme and gameplay is similar to the Medal of Honor series. However, Call of Duty showcases multiple viewpoints staged in the American, British, and Soviet campaigns of World War II in Europe. The game introduced a new take on AI-controlled allies who support the player during missions and react to situational changes during gameplay. This led to a greater emphasis on squad-based play as opposed to the lone wolf approach often portrayed in earlier FPS games. Call of Duty was one of the early first-person shooters to feature iron sights. As the focus of the game is on simulation of the actual battlefield, the gameplay differed from many single-player shooters at the time. In 2005, Infinity Ward released Call of Duty 2 for the Xbox 360 and PC. The game used an in-house engine called IW Engine, which is still the main engine used in the franchise to this day. The IW Engine 2.0 is a modified version of ID Tech 3, which was used in the first Call of Duty game. With the new game engine, Infinity Ward expanded the scope of combat to deliver a realistic battlefield experience and improved visuals. The developers were able to cloud visibility with smoke from smoke grenades and create weather effects like sandstorms and blizzards. COD 2 was set during World War II, containing 4 individual campaigns split into 3 stories with a total of 27 missions. Many features were added and changed from the original Call of Duty, notably regenerating health and an icon that indicates a nearby grenade about to explode. Call of Duty 2 features several game types: Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, Search and Destroy, and Capture the Flag. In the Xbox 360 version, players can play on Xbox Live and get new map packs. There were 13 official maps, including 3 remakes from the original Call of Duty. And the game drew critical praise, particularly for the graphics, sound, and the regenerating health system. The Xbox 360 version sold more than 250,000 copies in its first week, more than 2 million copies by January 2008, and nearly 6 million copies by November 2013. Call of Duty 3 was unveiled by Activision shortly before E3 2006. It was revealed that Treyarch would be developing the title, which was set to release later that year. And at this point, the Call of Duty franchise had gained a lot of momentum, and the gaming community was more than excited for its third installment. The game would be running on Treyarch's own internal engine, NGL. This game served as a launch title for the PlayStation 3 and Wii in North America, Europe, and Australia. It was also the only major Call of Duty installment not to be released for PC platforms. The player takes the perspective of either an American, British, Canadian, or Polish soldier during the single-player campaign, for a total of 14 missions. Set in the Western Front of World War II, Call of Duty 3 takes place in the year 1944. COD 3 introduced the series' scripted close combat sequences and multiple actions to arming explosives, both of which require the player to press buttons in sequences to progress. In addition to the single-player campaign, Call of Duty 3 features a wide range of multiplayer modes for players to participate in. each team allowing up to 24 on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, and 16 players for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox in a single match. 1 year later, Infinity Ward released Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare in 2007. The game breaks away from the World War II setting of previous entries and is instead set in modern times. With a 2-year development time, Modern Warfare was released in 2007 for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Microsoft Windows. The campaign takes place in the year of 2011 when a radical leader has executed the president of an unnamed country in the Middle East, and a nationalist movement ignites a civil war in Russia. The multiplayer portion of this game features numerous game modes and contains a leveling system that allows the player to unlock additional weapons, weapon attachments, and camos as they level up. The game also introduces new features, particularly multiplayer mechanics such as kill streaks, where the player gains access to special abilities for killing enemies without dying. Modern Warfare is the first game in the series to feature perks, which are an essential part of every loadout. Perks allow players to carry additional guns, pick up ammo from dead teammates, and decrease explosive damage. The game was praised by critics, especially for its gameplay and storyline, but there was criticism of its lack of innovation. Modern Warfare won numerous Game of the Year awards and 2 BAFTA Video Game Awards. The game is considered one of the greatest video games of all time. It was the top-selling game worldwide in 2007, selling around 7 million copies by 2008 and almost 16 million by 2013. In 2009, Activision fired Call of Duty co-founders Jason West and Vince Zampella, claiming they were insubordinate. It all started when Vince Zampella and Jason West negotiated a new deal with Activision, which granted them creative control over the Call of Duty franchise. However, Activision had one condition. If Zampella and West were gone, the rights to Call of Duty would remain with Activision. Later, the 2 Infinity Ward co-founders were fired for alleged insubordination. While the scandal's history has been well documented, former Infinity Ward developer Paul Sander shed light on how the events unfolded from the perspective of other employees. Quote, "The fact that our respected studio heads, our leaders, had been canned in such a sudden and cold-blooded fashion brought the entire team a collective feeling of anger and a deep sense of unfairness." Zampella and West filed a lawsuit claiming Activision conspired to get rid of them. The lawsuit included allegations that Activision breached contracts, engineered their firing for sabotage, and had backroom dealings with EA. Activision executives' email records show that they had allegedly conspired to find dirt on West and Zampella because the Activision management was fed up with their arrogance and wanted a pretext to fire them. In other words, Activision was trying to get rid of the duo that it said were critical to the success of its Call of Duty business. In the end, 40 out of 100 people left Infinity Ward in solidarity. A significant number of them joined Respawn, an independent studio established by Zampella, with the backing of EA. The Infinity Ward split is one of the most notorious scandals in the gaming industry. Up until this point, the development cycle of Call of Duty seemed like it had found its rhythm. The key word there, seem. Obviously, with a major lawsuit going on, these devs had to figure out how to get the next installment on the shelves. Infinity Ward and Treyarch were rotating development every year, and it just so happened that despite everything going on, Infinity Ward was up. Modern Warfare 2 received universal acclaim, with praise for its campaign, multiplayer, and amount of content. Although the game was subject to a controversy surrounding a playable level that had the player carry out a terrorist attack at an airport. Within 24 hours of release, the game sold approximately 4.7 million copies in North America and the UK, ending as the best-selling video game in 2009. Black Ops runs an enhanced version of the IW 3.0 engine used in World at War. The improvements made allowed for bigger campaign levels to be made as well as enhanced lighting. The multiplayer focuses on socialization and customization. Create a Class 2.0 allowed enhanced personalization with appearance items as well as upgradable perks. Weapons are extensively customizable with writing, emblems, attachments, and camos. Even reticles could be modified, and for the first time in the series, clips from online gameplay could be recorded. A currency system had been implemented allowing players to buy weapons, accessories, and clothes. Players could gamble with their COD points in a free-for-all based playlist called Wager Match. Within 24 hours of going on sale, the game had sold more than 5.6 million copies, breaking the record set by its predecessor, Modern Warfare 2. The game had sold over 25 million copies worldwide, making it, at the time, the best-selling game of all time in the US. Following tensions between the studio and Activision, the remaining staff worked alongside Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software to release Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The game released in 2011, serving as the third and final installment in the original Modern Warfare trilogy and the 8th Call of Duty installment overall. Modern Warfare 3 was a massive success, grossing over $400 million on its launch day, $775 million within its first 5 days of release, and became the fastest grossing entertainment product to reach $1 billion in 16 days, beating the Avatar movie, which earned $1 billion in 19 days. From this point on, we're going to quickly move through the rest of the Call of Duty installments. I know that the best COD game of all time is next on the list, but I'll make a separate video for that. Just so I don't bore you, let's get to the major points I wanted to bring up. We already discussed the complicated relationship with Infinity Ward and Activision. So what happened next? Was there more development team drama? Were there any more people fired? Yes and no. Yes, there are always those types of things happening, but I wanted to talk to you about the evolution of the games themselves. Obviously, Black Ops 2 was the peak of Call of Duty. It had the same feel of the prior games that hooked us in the first place. From this point on, Call of Duty entered its experimental phase. Now, I'm not going to talk badly about any of these games because people are entitled to their opinions, but Ghost and Advanced Warfare had major differences from previous titles. I'm assuming that the developers really felt that they hit a wall after Black Ops 2, and that they needed to think outside of the box creatively. Looking back today, I wonder if they think that they made the right decision. A lot of the community did not respond well to these games. It was way too different from the COD they used to play. Black Ops 3 was a diamond in the rough during this phase, and is also thought to be one of the best. But at this point, developers realized how much money they could squeeze out of players' pockets with microtransactions. These one-time payments really became the downfall of the franchise. It was as if everywhere you looked, you had to pay for something more. We understand that this is a business, and you need to make money to continue releasing games, but there's a certain point where it's just obviously greedy. It became so clear that this is what they were doing, with hundreds of cosmetics, loot boxes, and battle passes. The community was able to somewhat ignore them until it became way too much. From Modern Warfare 2019 on, it was unbearable to even boot up the game. After paying $70, they still constantly tried to take more money out of your wallet. This is the point in time where I stopped playing these games. I didn't feel appreciated. I felt used. Each game felt like a brand new update, which I had to pay another price for. There was no more creativity, just nostalgia. For God's sake, they remade Modern Warfare 3 separate times because they thought people would come rushing back. The ups and downs of Call of Duty are complicated, but it never felt like it needed to be. They had their winning formula in the beginning, and the players loved it. It was the branching out and then become greedy mixed with nostalgia that truly brought their decline. Now, I will always be a fan of this franchise. I'm always keeping an eye out on the current and the new Call of Duty game. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that until I see some major improvements in their gameplay and their character, I won't be buying another game. It's depressing that Call of Duty has been so complicated, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy and want to support my channel, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite Call of Duty game. That's going to be it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Panicking, you're just so good.